Hello and welcome to CIPD Bitesize. In this video, we're going to be looking at AC 3.2 of the 50 SO2 unit, which is Advances in Digital Learning and Development. Okay, so for someone who is planning their CPD, assess the skills they need to be an effective facilitator for online learning activities. And the marking guide question is assess the main skills required to facilitate online learning activities. Both of these look to be around about the same wording. I don't really see there's much difference in them. There's no real clues in either of them as to how to best approach the question. So let's just break down the question. Okay, so for someone who is planning their CPD, that's just the intro. Assess the skills that you need to be an effective facilitator for online learning activities. So what are the skills you need to be good in front of a camera? Like this. That's basically what the question is asking you to do. So, what are the skills for you to be an effective facilitator for online learning activities? And assess, that's the verb. So, let's break it down. Let's break it down into its component parts. So, assess, to judge, decide the amount of value, quality, or importance of something. So, that probably assess the main skills. Skills has an S, cheeky S. CIPD are looking for more than one skill. So assess skill 1 to be an online facilitator, assess skill 2 to be an online facilitator, assess skill 3 to be an online facilitator. Discuss the needs, some of you, but also want some evidence. So when you're assessing, what skills do you think and what evidence backs it up? So start to think about it from that perspective in terms of this is the skill you need. This is what evidence supports this. So it could be things like retention, it could be storytelling, it could be tone, it could be pace, it could be any of these things that you need to deliver online in engaging sessions. And what are they? For example, one of my bad habits is I move a lot when I'm doing online. That's not always a good thing. If you're in a classroom and you're walking around and stuff like that, then that can be really engaging. But on a webcam, it can be really distracting of me just sort of swaying from side to side, which I'm doing on camera just to sort of illustrate the point. That can be really distracting from what you're trying to learn because you're just looking at me swaying from side to side going, what's he on about? Well, is that a good skill for online facilitation? And these are the types of things you've got. So the way you lay out your work, top right hand corner, AC 3.2, and then you assess with evidence. So this is what the evidence says, this is what the data says, this is how we go forward, this is what I think. Assess skill 1, this is how important it is for online facilitation. Assess skill 2, this is the quality of this that's needed for online facilitation. Assess skill 3, this is the importance of something for online facilitation. Break down your answer into the component parts. You can get away with 2 action points. I think 3 is safer in this because you're assessing the main skills required. I think if you can only think of 2, they're probably not going to be necessarily enough depth. You got around about 350 words for this particular question. So you've easily got enough words to sort of really bulk out your answer when it comes to this question. Around about 120 words per AC. Remember, you can go 10% over, 1 word over, then your whole assessment will refer. You can go 10% under, 1 word under, and it's going to be an instantaneous refer as well. So you do have some leeway, and this might be one of the questions where you need to go a little bit deeper in terms of your word count. So bear that in mind when you're writing up your answers and stuff like that, that you keep track of your word count. I always say plan your word count per question. So if you go, okay, well, these are the areas where I might need a little bit extra, so I'm going to hold that back. Right. So do is I'm going to give you the scenario, because a lot of the information that I give you for the order of content is in terms of additional content is stuff that you've already you've read through. The CIPD report on effective virtual classrooms, people management, delivery of online training, educate online face-to-face, online learning versus face-to-face, CIPD fact sheets, learning and development strategies and policies, CIPD fact sheets, method of delivering learning interventions, CIPD learning at work report. All of these have clues as to the skills you need to facilitate online learning. So I could just throw the same resources online for you again, but there's 6 there for you that have already been covered in multiple other bite-sized videos. And yes, you can use more than one bit of content to cover more than one AC, and all of those give you all the answers. So let's go straight into the fictitious scenario. Let's go straight into Znork, a Zorgan. So because this will help you understand, okay, well, these are all the resources that I've looked at so far, so this is what am I going to use. So Snork, Zorgon, with twitching antenna, excitedly prepared to teach humans his language, Zorgonian. In his spaceship classroom, the intergalactic Babel Tower, holographic projectors flickered as his translator occasionally offered eyebrow-raising interpretations. His first online class was a delightful disaster. Humans blessed their terrestrial hearts struggled. Blorp, which means hello, was mistaken for burp, or gleeglorp, which is delicious. This led to an attempt to consume a holographic fruit. Snork antennae dropped. It was harder than outsmarting a nebula noodle. He swiftly grasped the importance of communication skills. Glorp wasn't cutting it. Snork resorted to elaborate gestures, strange Zorgonian clicks, and drawing tentacle sketches in the air. Repetition, phrasing, breaking down complex Zorgorian grammar into digestible alien nibbits became his mantra. Active listening was another revelation. Snork diligently monitored the humans' bewildered expressions, their hesitant Zorgorian stumbles, and chaotic chat box, mostly Earth emojis with with questions. He couldn't just broadcast Zorgonian. He had to listen to their linguistic struggles and adjust his extraterrestrial pedagogy. Patience became an unexpected superpower. When students insisted Zorgonian was a typo for Zorkonian, Snork took a deep breath with his multiple lunged and calmly re-explained, reminding himself that interspecies communication was a marathon, not a meteor shower. Flexibility proved essential. Snork meticulously planned holographic vocabulary lessons that were jettisoned. He embraced linguistic games, cleverly incorporated Earth words, much to the translator's confusion. He even attempted teaching Zorgorian through what could be generously described as alien opera. By course's end, Snork's slightly damp and bewildered human sights had achieved a minor miracle. His students could, sort of, say hello in Zorgorian, and knew not to eat holographic fruit. Snork, in turn, had gained valuable insights into the art of online facilitation. The key skills he got from this, as learned by Snork, was clear and concise communication was essential for bridging the distance of any language or species barrier. If they can't understand you, the learning spaceship has already crash landed. Active listening, turning into learner feedback questions, confusion is crucial for tailoring a learning journey. Ignoring the struggles is like navigating a black hole without a map. Patience, technical hiccups, misunderstanding, misinterpretation, the occasional learner that thinks Gleethorpe is a snack required a facilitator with a zen-like calm and meditation of a space slug. Flexibility, being ready to adapt your plans, teaching, training methods, even your definition of correct pronunciation is vital in the ever-evolving online environment. Rigidity is the enemy of engagement. Snork realized that facilitating online, whether you're teaching Zongorian to humans or advanced astrophysics to scientists, space ferns, demanded more than just expertise. It required patience. And it required clear communication, the adaptability of shape-shifting space pirates, and communication skills of a universal translator, a better one than he currently had. With all these skills, any facilitator could guide their learners through the vast and sometimes bewildering landscape of the online learning universe. And I think when we start to think about online learning and we start to think about how we approach things, you can talk in language that doesn't make sense to people. Simplicity is the key for me. I often say that people, when they use really complex and really detail orientated things, means they don't understand the subject well enough to be able to break it down into its simplicity. The skills you need to facilitate online learning activities is, for me, and this is just my opinion, is really clear communication. If you don't have a clue what I'm talking about, you can't come and chat to me. I'm online. You're just stuck on your own, in your own little bubble, unable to sort of progress because you've hit a roadblock of down to how I've communicated. When I move around too much, it can get really distracting. So you've got to think about, how do you ensure that a person on their own watching a video doesn't get lost? We've all watched a film where we go, well, what the hell are they on about? And it doesn't make any sense, and it's disengaged you from it. If that happens in learning content, you're disengaged from learning and you just end up giving up. And that's the last thing you want in any online learning content. You want people to build confidence, think, I actually get it, I understand it. And that's where clear communication, simplified communication means. Because if I start talking, for example, like the pedagogical design of the this, that, and the other, you'll be like, well, what do you mean by pedagogical design? And if I start talking in acronyms like the LMS and this and the CCM and you'd be like, well, what's LMS, what's CCM? And it disengages you immediately. So you have to ensure, for me, when you're delivering any form of online facilitation and learning activities, that you ensure that your communication is as clear and as basic English as possible. Doesn't mean you don't understand as much. Just means you're making sure that you're not casting people off. But it's not that people are stupid. Acronyms and things like that can mean many different things to many different people. We see it in text and emojis and what people thought the praying hands was, or the high five and stuff like that. So clarity is key for me when it comes to online. But the main skills that a person needs for that, well, maybe it is deep understanding. Maybe it's deep understanding and facilitation to a level that they need to do. These are the types of things that you need to think about when you're doing this particular question. Especially remember you work for a manufacturing organization in this. So think about if you've got finance over here and you've got an engineer over here, and then you've got someone in HR over here. How can you communicate in a language that finance, engineering, and HR all agree is the right thing? So that can be quite tricky to do. So that's kind of what I want you to think about. I know the story's a bit complicated, and go back over the content. So there's some particular ones I'm a massive fan of that will help you with this. Delivering classroom training online versus face-to-face, learning and development strategy and policy, effective virtual classrooms, all this content you've already had. So I'm not just going to put the same content up and up again. It's all there. You've just got to think, well, what speaks to me? What would help a manufacturing company, and how do I go forward with it? Absolutely best of luck with this unit. I'm sure you'll absolutely smash it, and we'll catch you on the next one.